Going into this 92nd Army-Navy game, Army comes in 4-6 on the season. Navy is 0-10, but so far Navy has an edge on the week. Navy has been able to steal the Army mules the first time in history. They have kidnapped the first captain of the Corps of Cadets. They have bombarded an Army assembly with ping-pong balls and propaganda. So, Bob Greasy, I would say at least so far the Navy's ahead.
Well, they're quick starters, and they've been that way all year long. Navy, a very young ball club. 7 freshmen and sophomores start on the offensive team. 2 different styles of offense. They'll use the option, and when they want to throw the ball, they'll put in a freshman, Jim Kubiak. He's a freshman quarterback, threw 54 passes in 1 game this year. That's more passes than Army threw all year long. For Army, it's the wishbone. 3rd in the nation in rushing, last in Division I in passing the ball. They only threw on an average of 5 passes a game. Myron Williams, a wide receiver who moved into quarterback at the 3rd game because of injury, has started the last 8, gained over 800 yards. It's Army and Navy. It's probably not the size or the speed that you're used to seeing on Saturdays, but you can be sure that the emotion and the intensity and the effort will probably be there as high as you've seen all year.
This being the 92nd Army-Navy game, isn't it remarkable that this series is all even? It's almost unbelievable. Here we go, one more time.
ABC's College Football, the Army-Navy game. Brought to you by the Die Hard Battery. Now with more power when you need it most. By United. Come fly the airline that's uniting the world. Come fly the friendly skies. And by Radio Shack, America's technology store. Nobody compares.
CFA College Football here on ABC Sports, the Army Cadets and the Navy Midshipmen. And we're ready to go with the story about a historic moment this week. Jack Arute to fill us in on the theft of the mules.
Keith, as you said, never before in the history of this matchup have the Navy midshipmen been able to steal the Army mules. Well, that all changed earlier this week when Operation Missing Mules was put into play. 17 midshipmen, it was the brainchild of them. 4 of them in less than 2.5 minutes absconded with all 4 mules, brought them back to Annapolis, Maryland, paraded them in front of a very happy brigade of midshipmen. But the Army Corps of Cadets want to remind everybody, but that's the first time that the mules have ever been stolen. They've stolen the Navy goat quite a few times, Keith.
That's great. Shaved him one time and painted his horns black, they did. George Trump in his 2nd season as coach of the Naval Academy. Been a tough year. Bob Sutton comes in. This is not a new experience for him because he was the defensive coordinator for 8 seasons under Jim Young at the military academy and succeeded Jim as the head coach at West Point. Chad Davis will return the kickoff. He is a sophomore out of Atlanta, Georgia. Army won the toss. They want the ball. Back there with him is Chuck Gibbs. Kicking off for the Naval Academy will be Matt Tate. He is a sophomore from North Canton, Ohio. Chuck Gibbs is a senior from Auburn, Alabama. They come from all over the country. On. And it goes out of bounds, and they'll have their choice. Take it up on the 35 or make them re-kick it. It's been 10 years, Bob, since I've sat up here and watched an Army-Navy game, and it's still fun, I'll tell you.
Well, it's my first, Keith, and I've really enjoyed it so far, the week's preparation, and I'm looking forward to it the rest of the day.
They'll take the ball out at the 35, so here's the way the cadets will line up offensively. At quarterback, you're going to have a young man named Williams, who caught the only pass that Army threw last year in the entire game against Navy. Myron Williams, the quarterback, succeeding Willie McMillan, who was injured in the Harvard game. Adrian Oliver has the first carry of this ball game, the senior out of Lamarck, Texas. Here's the way they line up. Smith and Leatherwood. The fullback is Callian Thomas. Thomas, of course, is the key man in the wishbone option. You got to take him away from it if you want to stop it. This is the biggest offensive line that Army has ever put on the field. It averages right at 270 yards tackle to tackle. They They do run out of the wishbone, and they do it for a very specific reason. I'll tell you in a moment. On second down, the quarterback, Williams, a senior from Patterson, New Jersey, carries the ball, and you'll see him carry it a lot. He is the leading rusher on the team. The Navy defensive alignment comes this way, and they'll play a four-man down group most of the time. Sometimes they'll go into a blitz circumstance with more. The secondary is pretty green. That young Hart fellow there, he is just that, young, a true freshman. A lot of 18, 19-year-olds out on that football field today. Third down and 4. Quarterback going down the line with it, pitches it back to Oliver, and Oliver, a 185-pound running back, is brought down by Chris Hart. But this is what Army can do to you. They turn it. If they pick up that first down, they'll just keep nipping at you, grinding at you, and keep the football all day. Navy didn't get a lot of snaps in the game a year ago.
3rd and 4 is not a passing down for Army. It's going to be 4th and very short, and they are going for it on their own 45-yard line.
Ball is just short of the 45, 4th down and a yard. If the Navy defensive people can pinch him here, they would start with a big advantage. But they send it to the fullback, and I'll tell you what, he made it. Looks like the mark is just over the 45, but not much. Callion Thomas, the fullback, was hit eyeball to eyeball and jaw to jaw with Byron Ogden, and he just made it.
Well, he needs to get just to the line. Taking a look from the side is forward momentum. I think that's a good call. The two line judges on the side of the field mark his forward progress.
Ogden, the senior out of Burke, Virginia, laid every ounce of energy he had into him and just simply couldn't stop him. He had a half a yard to go, and he got just a little more than that. All right, they go back now to that option play. Turn it around the corner with the quarterback keeping it. Williams is a 6-footer, 200 pounds, and obviously quite durable. But kind of interesting, Bob, that Williams in the Harvard game was at wide out, and then all of a sudden the quarterback, McMillan, goes down, and he's the quarterback in a wishbone offense.
Well, Williams was the quarterback for his first 2 years, Keith, at Army for the JV team.
Outside on the defense, repeat first down.
Then last year, Williams was moved to a wide receiver and caught 13 passes, 5 of them for touchdowns, and averaged 33 yards a catch. He was a big play guy at wide receiver, but more importantly than that, he was a great blocker for this wishbone. And you need a good graphic. You see that graphic right there, 3rd rushing team in the nation. You need a good wide receiver blocker on the wishbone offense.
Again, the fullback, Thomas, and again, let me say to you, the key to stopping the wishbone is take away that front man, and that front man is your fullback. The officials today, the referee we just saw, Buddy Ward, umpire is Mike Simcheski, Ron Marinucci, the linesman, Matt Radicic, the line judge, Jerry McGee is your side judge, field judge is Howard Curry, the back judge is Mike Donato. We are at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The temperature better than 50 degrees. On second down and 3, the ball's rolling around. And the quarterback, Williams, pounces on it and keeps possession for the Army team.
One of the problems that has plagued Williams since he has been back at the quarterback the last 8 games, and Army in particular all year, are fumbles and turnovers.
Leatherwood had gone in for a play, comes back now. Williams, a very busy fellow with the whole scheme of things for the cadets. Tomasino, the wideout, flip to the bottom of the picture. 3rd down and 3. Quarterback turns it upfield, has the first down. He's a good, strong runner. He makes it first down Army at the Navy 42-yard line.
He's a tough kid, Keith. He is big at 6 foot, 200 pounds. He's a good runner, a strong blocker, as we mentioned a little earlier, a tough kid. But it really hurts him to have him at quarterback because the wide receiver is not nearly as good as blocker as he was last year.
They play on the rug here at the vet. You get that extra edge and quickness. This is Oliver. The pitch was a little high, but he handled it all right. And he gets gets around the corner and he picks up another Army first down, it appears. No, not quite. They marked him back at the 35. He went tumbling past the marker, but Leatherwood comes back into the ball game. Corbett is a senior from Stephenville, Texas. And the man coming out is Arlen Smith, number 21, a senior from Woodsboro, North Carolina. Number 89 in motion is Monty Tomasino. It is second down and 4. That's Oliver. He's getting a lot of business early on in the ball game, and as he goes over the top, walking on the top of somebody, he's going to have what appears to be another Army first down. So they're grinding it out.
Just as they did last year, Keith, as you mentioned earlier, and Navy defensively does not match up well against this wishbone offense of Army. They have allowed 232 yards a game on the ground. That's like 3 from the bottom in all of Division I football against the run.
It is just short. And as you read back through the history to reflect on the people who have been involved in this particular event over the years, you can't miss the name Earl Henry Blake. And his name always comes up in every conversation having to do with an Army-Navy game. Third down and inches. Nothing fancy. Callian Thomas, first down. He is from Warrensville, Ohio, and a senior. There's Bob Sutton. He's out of Eastern Michigan, his alma mater. He coached, worked under, learned under Bo Schembechler and Bill Mallory.
And this will tell you how he gets his touchdowns, Keith. 23 on the ground, only 1 through the air.
So it's a first down for the Cadets. Call up the Navy 29. Moving the ball down the field. Just chewing off 3, 4, 5 at a time. Fullback Thomas carries.
That's Ogden, number 55, and one of the things they have to do is stop the run right up the middle. That play is too far into the secondary. Ogden wants to fill the gap at the line of scrimmage, not meeting where he's lining up in his linebacker position.
If you don't stop that particular movement out of the wishbone, it'll beat you like a drum. Second down and 6. Whoa, there's the kind of a play that'll take care of it. That's Rodney Purifoy, a senior from Fort Washington, Maryland, taking down Adrian Oliver.
And here you see Purifoy right here, Keith, as the option starts going this way. He's just going to get into the backfield and not let the development of the wishbone get to him. He misses the block on the outside. Nice play, a big play. The first negative play for Navy in this game so far.
Third down and 12. Throwing the ball, my goodness, the earth may crack. A gain down 2 yards short of the first down to Mark Dawkins, the tight end, a senior from Columbus, Ohio. And he was stopped. They threw 1 pass in last year's ball game. Already here in the first quarter, we've had the ball thrown.
That's a lot for Army, right? They average about 5 passes a game.
Patman Malcolm, a junior from Rossville, Georgia, is in to try a field goal. It is a 39-yard try out of the hold of Chris Shaw. He'll hit it at 29. He's got to go 10 yards into the end zone. He's got plenty of leg on it. And it's good. So Army uses a lot of time to get 3 points. Obviously, it's significant that Army leads 3-0, but the more significance in this set of numbers, I think, is off to the right side there. 7 minutes and 9 seconds.
Well, that's what they like to do, Keith. Use a lot of time up. They used 12 running plays, only 1 pass in that drive, and that is their way. That's what they like to do.
The man deep for the Navy is Jason Van Meter, number 5. So obviously, at least I don't think he is going to be the starting quarterback. Chance McCure is going to kick it off for the Army. But we had Van Meter listed as the tailback, with Jim Kubiak being the quarterback, but George Chump wouldn't confirm it until he came out here into the stadium and watched him warm up. So the barefoot kicker hits it hard. Line drive fielded by Van Meter, looking for daylight, and he looked too long. And he does not even get back to the 20. I guess maybe they'll give him the 20, that's all.
Keith, he was looking to throw that ball across the field.
Like
Navy had a wall set up on the other side, but there was a good Army guy right there. Could have picked it off if he would have thrown it.
Well, you can see him walking around holding that thing by the strap like he was. You knew something was up. But Kubiak is the freshman, 19-year-old, coming into the ball game, and Van Meter will open at your tailback position. You've got 2 19-year-olds out here who have been the leading pitch and catch group for the Naval Academy this year. Kubiak and wide receiver Tom Pritchard. They've combined for 32 pass completions, and they come out throwing. And that pass is completed to B.J. Mason, the senior out of Valdosta, Georgia. So here's the way they line up behind the quarterback Kubiak. Van Meter can also play quarterback. When he's in there, he'll be more option. These are freshmen, Pritchard and Hickman. A lot of freshmen involved in this Navy offensive unit, and you see that Navy's offensive front is even bigger than Army's by a few pounds. So they're plenty big enough. Their quick pass play was good for 8 yards. On second down, go to Van Meter. He finds daylight and gets a first down for the Navy at the 39-yard line. So he scoots on through there at 185-pound sophomore from Pensacola. The defensive unit for the cadets line up that way. Zornecki stepping in to start. He and Fogelsong, you'll hear their names a lot probably today. And the secondary, Mike Michelrath, he's been on the dean's list every semester that he has been at the academy, West Point. He is a junior from Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. Van Meter carries, and again, he gets good blocking on the left side of the line and works his way for 7 yards, putting the ball at about the 46-yard line.
There's a look at what Navy has done this year. They have come out hot, firing, and have scored 7 of 10 times in ball games this year. In fact, Army scored first in this ball game, Keith. 9 of the 10 games they played this year, George Chump's group has scored first.
Don't have the depth. It tends to wear down. They're 73-45 in total points scored in the first quarter against their opposition. On second down and 3, Kubiak over the middle with it. The pass complete to the tight end Kevin Hickman, a freshman from Cherry Hills, New Jersey, and he's got a first down.
Well, I'm impressed with Kubiak. He's just a plebe in military terms, his first year there, and not too good numbers there on the right, 10 interceptions, but George Chomp really likes this young man, thinks he is really going to be a good player.
Time remaining seen there. On the first down play, they go to the fullback, Stramanak, and Brad, a sophomore from Johnstown, PA. Hammers in there, and they're getting some pretty good yardage on these first down runs. That's half a first down right there. Second down and 5. That's the fullback again, Stramanak. And they've stopped him a couple of yards short of his first down. Monday night here on ABC Sports. Monday night NFL football features Dan Marino and the Miami Dolphins, the Cincinnati Bengals. It's an AFC showdown. The Dolphins trying to keep their playoff hopes going. The Dolphin season could rest on this game.
They've won their last 2, and they feel they need to win the next 3 to guarantee them a spot in the playoffs.
Third down and 2. That's at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific here on ABC Sports next Monday night. They go back to Van Meter. He's taken down right at the line of scrimmage by Lance Chambers a senior from Wellsburg, West Virginia. So Chambers makes a big defensive hit, number 99 for Army. And Navy now is looking at 4th down and a very long 2.
It's on the Army, what is it, about the 39 yards. It's too long for a field goal, and I think it's a good move. Go ahead for it on 4th down.
Van Mater moves into the quarterback position. They're going to run the option. Van Mater gives the ball away to the tailback, and Billy James, a 6-foot sophomore from Pennsylvania, and James slashing over the right side. It's close. Depends on the mark. They had to go inside the 37. Pretty close to eyeball.
This will be very close.
They'll bring the chains in.
That gentleman looked like he's in good shape. That line's the chain gang there, hustle him in.
Army's held him. Just by inches.
Well, Chambers from the right side, number 99, is the man that plays off the offensive tackle's block and gets a piece of him. He also got hit from behind. That's Fogelsong, number 87, who came all the way around and got a piece of the tackle.
Here's a message from HSL 45, Wolfpack in San Diego.
Brigade is across the field from where we are located. The cadets are on the same side that we are located, both sort of along the 30-yard line in here at the vet in Philadelphia. Army holds, takes over. Here's the wishbone option and a big defensive play on Myron Williams. The second one for Rodney Purifoy. So that strong corner is stepped up in here to play a major part in the Navy defense.
Navy has done is gone to a 5-man line, Keith, and here's Purifoy out here. Watch him as he gets into the secondary, unblocked. 2 men blocked on Ellis, number 40, and Purifoy, as you mentioned, his second tackle for a loss in the first quarter.
I'm not sure that somebody didn't go the wrong way because Williams looked like he was looking for somebody to pitch the ball.
Good point.
Little quarterback draw here, and again, a good defensive play along the line of scrimmage by Navy's Robert Goodson, the middle guard. Let's pause 5 seconds to let our ABC stations tell you who they are. Three minutes to go in the first quarter of play as the Army leads the Navy in game number 92 in this whole series.
3rd and 14 for a wishbone team, Keith. I don't think Bob Sutton's got any plays in this situation.
They give it a Corbett Leatherwood, and the senior from Stephenville, Texas, obviously is stacked up well short of anything akin to a first down.
Well, that's the problem. When you run a wishbone, you don't have a passing attack. 3rd and 14. The thing you don't want to do is do something you're not accustomed to, throw the ball and get a turnover.
Todd Hawkins, a sophomore out of Paris, Kentucky, checks in, averaging 38-plus yards per punt this season. Chad Chatlos is back there under it, takes it at the 18. Black shirts everywhere. Gets it back to the 23, and that'll do it. First down for the Navy at their own 23, 43-yard punt and a 4-yard return.
Hello, everybody. This is Colonel Tom Johnson, commander of Corpus Christi Army Depot. And on behalf of the 4,000 employees of this great depot, we have only one message for you today. Beat Navy! Go!
Some 4,300 of them. They come from every state in the Union. 11% women. located in Mid-Hudson Country. Jim Kubiak back in there at quarterback for the Navy as they take over first down at their own 23-yard line. Hands that ball off to Van Mater. He goes searching down the line looking for a crack, finds some, gets about 4, maybe 5 yards on the carry. Trey Gilmore, senior out of Durham, North Carolina, the tackle for the Army. These are playoffs now for Division I AA, Division II, and Division III. And those are 1AA teams you see there. Marshall, yeah, that's where George Trump came from.
He did very well. Set a lot of passing records over there at Marshall.
Dayton Flyers, boy, they're tough in that Division III play. This is Van Mater again, and this time Army smells it out, and again it's Trey Gilmore, the senior from Carolina, right there to pester him.
Gilmore, 57, his first year that he's a starter, although he lettered 2 other seasons because of his special team play. Fights off the block there and makes a nice tackle.
On third down and long 4, Army's defense goes to 6 DBs. They're expecting pass. They also show blitz. That's Van Meter in motion. Pressure. Kubiak, not very mobile, gets it away and completes it for a first down to Tom Pritchard, a freshman from Hilton Head, South Carolina.
Watch the protection here. This is the key. He looks downfield and everybody's covered. He starts to scramble, and all the white shirts are still between him and the black shirts. Then he comes back up and says, I got a man that's open, has the arm strength to get it there, and a big first down for Navy.
That's the combination of the 2 19-year-olds I mentioned a while ago. They had hooked up coming into this game 32 times. It's first down as Kubiak, not the most mobile guy on the field, lets it go down the sideline. The pass is complete to B.J. Mason. First down, Navy inside the Army 20.
Talk about double zone. Look at these 2 safeties deep. They're both going to split. Now with the receiver, he's up here. He's just going to go deep down the sideline, and he's going to get open on the sideline between the corner at the top of your screen and the safety who went out to take the deep outside. Nice throw. Good recognition by the freshman, Kubiak.
44-yard pickup. Kubiak is 4 for 4 for 68 yards. They mark the ball just inside the 20 at the 19 for the first down. A lot of Georgia boys on both these teams. BJ being out of Valdosta. And the quarter is gone. So after 1, it is Army 3, Navy threatening. Jason Van Mater once again showing his versatility here as his coach sends him back to the quarterback position. Kubiak now is on the sidelines.
Van Meter, Keith, started the first 6 games of the ball game of the season, and he is the option quarterback, as we mentioned.
Which means they'll run the ball. They go strong side to the field side, hand the ball off inside. It goes to Scramanak, the fullback. They go from first down at the 19 for a 2-yard pickup in the backfield with Scramanak, Duke Ingram, and Billy James.
First quarter stats, not a lot there. Time of possession, big in favor of Army. And total yards, big in favor of Navy, mainly because of this drive here and the long pass.
Second down and 8. Is Ingram. Van Meter keeps it, and off the corner takes a lick as the tackle is made right about the 14-yard line by Mike McElrath.
Well, you may wonder why Van Meter is in there at quarterback since Kubiak took him down the field. Chump was telling me earlier this week that he was a little bit concerned that the plebe, the freshman Kubiak, may be blitzed when they get inside the 20-25-yard line by Army. He didn't want to subject him to that, so he thought I'd go with the experience and go with Van Meter inside the 20.
If he doesn't get a score out of this possession, though, you may have to change his mind. the first down inside the 10. McElrath saved what might have been a touchdown as Van Meter had some room to run.
Well, here it comes right at you. Going to fake it to the fullback. It's kind of a, excuse me, fake. The fullback is really going to block. Van Meter, with his quickness, gets outside. Now he's in good shape. He can option off of McElrath.
It's a first down. It'll be first and goal at the 9. The key to that whole play was that 4 Army defenders got caught up along the line of scrimmage, and he just simply ran away from
He outran him to the sideline. The midshipmen scoring this year mainly on the ground also. This drive, their play selection has been a pretty good mixture.
Man in the deep position, Billy James. They give it to him, and his 200 pounds is going full bore as he gets to the 3-yard line.
Take a look from behind the defense. You'd be playing free safety right about now. And probably have to make the tackle because the linebackers didn't.
Strong safety, Pivier comes out of there. They've added now the big people to get the goal line set on second down and goal for the Navy. Kept by Van Meter. Touchdown for the Midshipmen.
Right at you, a little option, make it to the tailback, the threat of the pitch. Van Meter just gets in, and it appears that George Chomp knows what he's doing because he puts Van Meter in, the quarterback inside the 20-25-yard line, and he gets the score.
Tim Rogers, a freshman from Birmingham, Alabama, for the extra point. It is good. 12:33 to go in the first half. Navy goes to the lead, 7-3. There were 2 big pass plays in that possession. One to keep the drive alive to Pritchard, the other to Mason for 44 yards, and Van Meter sticks it in the end zone, and the Navy has gone to the lead by a score of 7-3.
And both of those throws were made by the other quarterback. You see Van Meter there, who jumps in at quarterback sometimes and then also plays tailback, but Kubiak with 2 good throws. Very impressive as a freshman.
Navy comes into this ball game winless, mind you. But they haven't been that far out of that many games. Chad Davis, the man they like to return it, averaging better than 21 yards. You average better than 21, that's pretty good. Kicking off is Matt Tate at number 7. 12:33 to go in the first half. High, long kick going into the end zone and dropped there, and it will be put down. Come out to the 20, and here is Jackaroo.
Keith, you're talking about the fact that this Navy team is winless going into this game. Coach George Chomp reminded his teammates about a Navy team back in 1948 that was also winless going into the Army-Navy game. They came out with a tie. But here's the rest of the story behind that game. It seems the Army cadets for Thanksgiving dinner received some bad stuffing, and they came down with food poisoning. They were in the hospital for 2 days. They did make it to the game. They suffered the tie. Red Blake never let them eat turkey again. Army's never eaten turkey before the Army-Navy game.
Center and linebacker on that team, and I think captain of that team is Bill Yeoman, who had so much success at Houston. Coach. Adrian Oliver carries it.
Navy that day, Keith, was 0-8, and Army was 8-0. Talked to Pistol Pete Williams earlier this week, and he said, unfortunately, his fondest memory at the Naval Academy was a tie, that tie with Army.
Ball is at the 22-yard line now for the cadets, where it is second down and 8. Navy leading 7-3 with 12 minutes to go in the first half. Wishbone option, good late pitch, but slow developing play, and Oliver has no place to go and is taken down for a loss back inside the 20. Coming up on ABC Sports, the Chevrolet College Football Awards show after the game. We will have the top quarterback, running back, and player of the year awards following our football game. And the awards include the Davy O'Brien quarterback, Jim Thorpe, the Doak Walker Award, the Outland Trophy, the Unitas Award. Ty Detmer among those. Terrell Buckley coming.
Desmond Howard.
Desmond
Some
Howard.
great players going to be there, Pete.
Quarterback draw with Myron Williams carrying, and runs the football to just beyond the 28. And so now he goes from negative yardage, almost picks up the first down, but comes up a yard and a half short, and at this posture on the field, and a yard and a half away from the marker, they're going to kick it. Todd Hawkins had a 43-yarder the first time today. Chad Chatmos, the junior, number 26, is back to return it if he has a chance, and he does. Gets away from the first man, but the second man got him pretty good. Number 82 laid a lick on him. Mike Playa, a linebacker. 39-yard punt, 3-yard return, 10:42 to play first half. Let's go back to November 30, 1946, when Army won a ball game by a score of 21-18. But it was a noble effort on both sides of the ball, and Navy, they still say we just ran out of time. We didn't lose that game. Army went on to its undefeated season with Messrs. Davis, Blanchard, and Heisman Trophy winners Doc and Glenn both, of course, and Pete Dawkins won it in 1958. That was a great ball. Pistol Pete Williams, one of the great referees in college football, was a quarterback for that Navy team. Ben Martin was on that team too at the Naval Academy, who coached at the Air Force Academy so well for so long. This pass is completed to Van Meter. Jim Kubiak back in there at quarterback throws the ball to Van Meter, and it's good for a first down. So Kubiak, the use of these two quarterbacks is a very interesting thing. Kubiak's in there until they get down into a circumstance where his coach worries about composure. Then he puts in the sophomore Van Meter, and I don't know how much difference is there between a freshman and a sophomore, Bob?
Well, there's not a lot, especially after a freshman has played 10 games this year. I mean, he's had a lot of experience.
Nothing there.
But I think one of the things we're talking about quarterbacks, young quarterbacks, as you see Miller with the sack, one of the things he needs to learn is the feel of the pocket, when to get rid of the ball, when to slide to your right or left, how long to stay, how long to hold the ball, and when it's time to run out of there. Those subtleties just come in time. Some of them, the few great ones, are just born with it.
Jason Miller made that tackle, a 200-pound sophomore from Honolulu. We're going to be going soon for the Aloha Bowl. This is Van Meter carrying the ball on second down and 13, and he'll get it back to about the original line of scrimmage.
On this play, blitz on the play initially. Kubiak checks off nicely, gets the ball to his wide receiver, and as you mentioned, there's a face mask. Did the ball go out of bounds? Whose possession is it? Well, let them sort it out.
There's the face mask against Army. That's Sean Gladio, junior from Swanton, Ohio, coming off.
Watch the linebackers. Gilmore, 57, blitzes in there. The quarterback saw it. There's a missed tackle, and Pritchard tries to get down the field. He's going to get the face mask right there.
5 yards in the defense.
Now the ball comes out.
Fumbled out of bounds, will return to the spot of the fumble.
And it was out of bounds, and the official is right there to make the call. So a good play for Navy all around.
Kubiak is now 6 for 6 and 111 yards. He's having a big day. Now they're threatening to get down in that inside the 20 again, and let's see whether or not George decides to put Van Meter back at quarterback. And apparently he had.
Well, you saw Kubiak on the sideline. You know, as a quarterback, Keith, you can't like that if you're the guy going off.
They run a little, that's the old counter play, the wing-back counter. And Duke Ingram goes thumping in there inside the 15 and down close to the 12-yard line and may have another first down.
It's just a misdirection play with a quarterback and a back go to the left, and the Ingram, the back, comes back to the right with a tackle pulling. And nice play selection for Chomp and the offense of Navy.
First down. Ball is at the 13-yard line. Here comes your option. Van Meter keeping it, turns inside, and waiting for him is Kyle Pivier. And lost his footing right along the line of scrimmage. We were talking about that 1946 team and game a while ago. The man who was the coach of that Navy team was Tom Hamilton. Went on to become the longtime commissioner of the AAWU and what we know now as the Pac-10 out on the West Coast. Old friend of mine. Nice man. 10-yard line. Billy James carries from Chinchilla, Pennsylvania. I'll have you know.
All right. This Navy defense, I mean the Army defense, Keith, you mentioned that they're from a lot of different places. You look at them, 10 different states are represented by those 11 young men right there. I mean, that is national recruiting.
Well, every congressman can get 5 nominations.
Yep.
Number 31, Billy James. And he goes to about the 5.
Illegal stiff on the offense.
And you got the penalty defined by the referee. Buddy Ward, man wearing the white hat.
So look at George Chomp. We told you he was at Marshall for 4 years, coached at Indiana, Pennsylvania before that, and then spent 3 years with John McKay at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFL. So he's been around. He was with Woody Hayes for a while at Ohio State. In fact, he was the man with the headphones on behind Woody. And whenever Woody would get upset, he'd turn around and grab the cord of his offensive coordinator. That was George Chomp.
After the penalty, making it 3rd down and 12, Kubiak is back in the ball game. Here comes the pressure. His pass is away to the end zone. Intercepted at the 2-yard line. So George knew what he was doing, and he decided apparently to go with the kid, and they lose the ball on the interception.
Inexperience, Keith. He had the man open. He just threw it too late. Here's the man he's going to try and get the ball to, and he's going to go right down the field. Now watch him. He will be open and early. But right here is the defensive back. He'll come over late and make the play. Play action. Now look, he throws his hands up. He is wide open. Gets a little pressure. May not have been able to throw when he wanted to, but if he would have got the ball, got set, thrown it, I think he would have had a touchdown.
So the Army holds.
I'm First Lieutenant Matt Canfield, platoon leader of the Presidential Salute Battery, the guns platoon of the 3rd United States Infantry, the Old Guard, Fort Myer, Virginia. We'd like to say, go Army! Big David!
They had the brigade and the corps both out, pretty much out on the field just before the two teams came off, and some of the guys lost their hats in the melee. All right, Army, after the interception by McElrath, will take over the ball on the 2-yard line. This is where you've got to be very careful with it, as Adrian Oliver carries the ball. Here's the interception.
Take a look at this from behind the defense. It's going to be good defensive play. The pressure right there, that's Fogelsong, number 87. No time for the quarterback to look downfield. This is what you call, you'd be better off with a sack here, because the pressure moves the quarterback around and gives McElrath a great chance to come in. That's why sometimes pressure on the quarterback, Keith, is more important than just as getting the sack, because you can get turnovers off the pressure.
It is 2nd down and 7 out near the 5 now. And Army moved too soon. At the top of the picture looked like the tight end Dawkins got a running start.
Encroachment on the offense.
Dawkins at 6'5", 235. He's a big guy.
He is, Keith, and he is the best blocker on that entire offensive line. He is the tight end, and there's been some talk that he would have a chance to play or at least go to an NFL camp were he not in the service and committed to 5 additional years at the military academy.
That, of course, is the problem you've got at the military academy. Yep. 2nd down and 10. So they play it into the middle, and looks like they're headed toward the punt, unless they decide to go outside with something a little fancy, and they can do that once in a while. Tony Danza and Judith Light continue their search to find out who's the boss, followed by Growing Pains, the Young Riders, and the Commish. Tonight, Saturday night, here on ABC. That's the norm for the Army team.
I'd be surprised if they put one up here.
Well, if you're going to pull one, no, this is the place to do it.
Go deep downfield.
Yep. A little lost. He was going to go back the other way, but the trailing group led by Chess Snyder said,
Don't ever go back.
Nope. The big junior from Arlington, Texas, ate him up.
Don't ever look behind you, because you know there are going to be some people chasing you.
Or something.
Something chasing.
Like Satchel said. Chatlos, he handles it for Navy, ought to give him pretty good field position. He comes up, makes the catch on the move, tucks away from 1, 2, and goes back to that 25-yard line. And very good field position for the Navy. Here's Jack.
Keith, you were talking about that great 46 team with Mr. Inside and Mr. Outside. Well, how about Doc Blanchard in this story? Do you know he almost became a Navy man? That's right, he enrolled at the University of North Carolina because he wanted to be in the Navy V-12 program. His 235-plus pounds, though, made him too heavy for the program. So he dropped out of North Carolina, enlisted in the Army, and the rest is history. He made his way to the West Point and the Heisman Trophy.
Jack, I believe there was a little friendly persuasion going on there, too. This is Van Meter. Back in those days, and Admiral Tom Hamilton had a great deal to do with the evolution of that pre-flight program. A lot of guys were involved in it. I think Charlie Trippy was another great name that was involved with the pre-flight. Many of them were. And some of those teams were dynamite football teams.
Well, they've had some outstanding teams at Army and Navy down through the years, Keith, but it's been quite a while since they've had any, maybe 10 years since any of these teams have been ranked in the top 25.
2nd down and 7. Van Meter again, and he gets to the 20. That'll bring up 3rd down and 5. Samford, that's Bobby Bowden's alma mater. Leading James Madison.
And his son coaching there now?
Yep.
And his boys coaching over there.
Yep. Marshall leading that one. Get into Division II. You know what's unusual about that Division II alignment? North Dakota State's not there. They're almost always there. This year, nope. 3rd down and 5. Here comes a reverse with B.J. Mason, the flanker, runs out of real estate right about the marker. So this may be 4 down territory right here. Depends on where they knocked him out. Duncan Johnson, the boundary corner, took him down.
What a great effort by Mason on the reverse, just giving up his body and just diving.
He's about 1.5 yards short. They'll go on 4th down. Van Meter is a tailback. Kubiak is a quarterback. The old confidence game going on with the kid right here. And he punches in there to the 15. He had to get beyond it. The question is, did he get beyond it enough? Ingram carried it. First down, Navy.
2 or 3 situations already in this ball game where the offense has gone for it on 4th down.
Well, we've been playing it by the inches already, haven't we?
Yes,
Van Meter is now your quarterback. It off to 31, Billy James. About 1 yard, all he's going to get on that play. Give him 2, make it 2nd down and 8. Fullback Stramanek has it, 235-pound sophomore, and he rumbles along to near the 10. The Prudential halftime report. Terrific show coming up for the U.S. Military Academy Band. Jeffrey Osborne will be with us. A message from President Bush from Pearl Harbor, where he is today. Just inside the 11, short of the 10. 3rd down and 7 coming up. Meter's your quarterback. Keeps it, wriggles around, works his way to the 5. I think he's short of 1st down.
quick feet, Van Meter. Good quick feet. Not big. He's only about, he's 5'10", 184 pounds. But great vision and good feet and quickness.
Maybe looking for a timeout here. Brian Ellis at number 14, a backup quarterback. And so the Midshipmen will have a talk. Threatening again and leading 7-3. .120 to go in the first half. Navy leads Army 7-3. Navy has led in a lot of football games in the early going. They scored first in 9 of 10 games. 5 of their 10 losses have been by 7 points or less. They have 4 sophomores and 3 freshmen in the offensive starting lineup. That's teenagers. So they grow. They grow in a hurry between September and December.
They have done very well, as you have just said, in the first half. In the second half, they've only scored 30 points in 10 games all season long.
The presence of Kubiak, however, I think already clearly shows that there might be more potential there than we have seen. This is number 31, Billy James, touchdown Navy.
the side. Watch the offensive line, the white shirts. Just needs a little crease in there. Nice cavity there. James gets in for the touchdown.
Big sophomore from Chinchilla, Pennsylvania.
We'll look at it from the free safety spot again. Gilmore is 57. Gets blocked by one of the offensive linemen, and the fullback has a chance to do something, but James just slides in for the touchdown.
I'll tell you something, Bob. This Navy bunch, they got the boiler stoked now.
Yes, they do. Well, they're 0-10, and they win this ball game, it would make their season, obviously.
Time remaining, only 1:17 in the first half. Chad Davis is the deep man for the Army team, standing back inside the 10. And Tate to kick it off. He's got a big foot. Well, he knocks this one well back into the end zone, and Davis will have none of it. He'll take the 20 for sure. And it'll be first down Army. 14-3, Navy leads. Picture. Let's see if Army chooses to put it up now. In the closing minute and 17 seconds. Here comes your option. Pitch it down the line. Turning the corner is Oliver. And up to the 25 for a 5-yard pickup.
That last drive for Navy. Great field position. They got the ball on the 25-yard line of Army following the punt.
You got timeout called at 1:04 to go. It was last weekend that I lost a great old friend. College football everywhere lost a great old friend. David Nelson left us at age 71, having been to a playoff game between his beloved Delaware Blue Hens and James Madison. David came home, had a heart attack, and passed away. He found his home in the University of Delaware, first as coach and then athletic director and then as dean, and forever as the executive secretary of the NCAA Football Rules Committee. I worked with him. He was a color man, commentated with me for a season, and he was worth a million laughs. He was a great wit. He was a great man.
Had some nice conversations with him, Keith, about the rules of college football. He knew everything. He knew the history of it. He would tell you more than you really wanted to know, but it was always entertaining.
Yep. Left us with a lot. Talk about your legacies. Those of us who knew it certainly profited from that relationship. On second down and 5, the quarterback Myron Williams for about 3 yards up near the 28. The mules are called Traveler and Trooper. Well, that's alias Ernie and Dan. Ernie and Dan were their other names. They've had an adventurous week and a pretty long ride in a U-Haul trailer.
Yeah, I'd like to ask them about their thoughts of this past week.
1963, Kenny Waldrop goes over right tackle here for a yard. Navy leading 21-15, but before the Army can get another play, time runs out. Referee walked in there, picked up the ball, and took it to the clubhouse, and left a very frustrated Joe Bellino. I got a great story about Bellino. I'll try to get it told before the day is over. He is one of the 2 Heisman Trophy winners at the Naval Academy. Of course, Roger Staubach being the other. The ball rests at the 28-yard line, where it is 3rd down and 2. Got 58 seconds to go in the first half. They've got their first down as the ball goes to the fullback out of that wishbone. Well, maybe I shouldn't call it the wisher, but it looked like that foot went down, went off the line. Thomas, the fullback. And it will be a first down for Army. President Bush has already been involved, as you saw early on today, in some of the programming out of some of the events taking place in Pearl Harbor. This is the quarterback, Williams, and he turns it all around the corner and runs the football all the way to the 47-yard line, and a first down for Army.
Now they want a timeout.
Now they want the timeout to talk and come up with the play with 27 seconds remaining. And Army now spending its last timeout right here. So we've got 27 ticks. They need to come up with a big play right here, and this is what has happened so far as Army got to the lead on Malcolm's 39-yard field goal in the first quarter, the first possession. They used over 70 minutes to get out and get that three-pointer. Then Jason Van Meter scored from 3 yards out to give Navy its lead of 7-3. And then from very good field position on the 25-yard line after a 32-yard punt, the Navy stuck it in the end zone again with Billy James. And they lead it 14-3. No more timeouts now for Army, so they need to come up with a series here. If they're able to get, they can probably get 2 plays out of this, maybe 3. But if they're thinking field goal down the road, they're going to have to figure some way of killing the clock, and that would be obviously to throw the ball into the ground. Chad Davis, with his speed now, checks in at that flanker position. And back goes the quarterback to throw it and lets it go down the middle. Incomplete. Williams overthrows Monty Tomasino down the middle. And he was in between defenders. If that ball is thrown to him, he's got a very good chance to catch it.
It would have been a tough catch. This is not the surprise passing attack that Army likes to use. They like to throw when they want to, when you're up with 9 or 10 guys stopping the run. Williams is not a great thrower. As we mentioned, he's been a wide receiver last year and part of the game this year. But he throws just enough to be effective.
22 seconds, and it's second down and 10. Williams pass to the sidelines, caught, and goes out of bounds. That's Smith, Arlen Smith. And he didn't pick up much on the play, probably 5 yards at the most. And now you're down to 16 seconds.
Bob Sutton was a graduate assistant at Michigan under Bo Schembeckler, and when Gary Moeller, who is now the head coach at Michigan, was the head coach at Illinois, Sutton was on his staff there. It's his first year at Army after taking over for Jim Young.
He had 8 seasons as Jim Young was the defensive coordinator. 5-man front now for the defensive Navy. Pressure on Williams, and they've got him. Ball comes loose. Beanbag goes down. It's Navy ball at the Army 43. Chess Snyder covers it for the Navy.
At 10 seconds to play.
Chris Alexander, number 71, made the big hit, senior from Annapolis.
Well, you've got Army where they don't like to be, where they have to throw the football right before the half, and they're behind.
Knocks
it loose, right. And Alexander's getting an opportunity to play because of the injury earlier this year to Dan Pidgeon.
10 seconds. Navy has 2 timeouts, so they've got one. If they can pick up enough yardage here to give their kicker a chance, they might have a shot at it. Let's see if they load it up with Kubiak and go for the big one. Are they thinking 3 or are they thinking 6? Got to do something with it. Well, that takes care of probably the better part of both. They used 5 seconds on the play. Fogelsong looping from the outside knocks Kubiak down. He was still searching downfield for somebody to throw it to, and that big sophomore from Anaheim, California, was searching for him, and he found him. Don't forget, right after the ball game today, the Chevrolet College Football Awards show. quarterback, running back player of the year, Heisman Trophy, live here on ABC
What
Sports.
a great idea this is. Why haven't this been on before? You got Casey Weldon is going to be around. Tony Sacca. Some of the great players in college football this year are going to be in the same spot.
Steve Empman is involved in it as well, because Empman earlier this week was voted the Lombardi Award.
Yep, Desmond Howard
for the Outland Trophy.
Desmond will be there. Terrell Buckley, who should win some awards this year.
Brent Musburger will have it for you, coming out of Kings Island, Ohio. College Football Hall of Fame. Place. 5 seconds. Give this man time to throw it. He lets it go. He's got a man down there, and the pass is incomplete. Pritchard, fumbling downfield, could not make the catch, and the half is over. And Navy leads Army 14-3 after the break. And we've got a terrific halftime show coming up for you in just a few minutes.
Down of the day. That's James, number 31, that just gets the benefit of the good blocking up front and gets in for the touchdown.
So those were the big plays in the first half as Navy marched off to a 14-3 lead. The voice you're going to hear as we join the halftime now is that of Ed Hurley, a voice so many of you will remember.
A date which will live in infamy.
The early morning air raid left 2,403 Americans dead, 21 ships sunk or damaged, and 188 aircraft destroyed. Survivors of the attack have paid lasting tribute to their fallen comrades with the building of the USS Arizona Memorial. Attending today's Army-Navy game are members of the Pearl Harbor Survivors Association. They are seated in sections 214 and 256. Representing them is Mr. Harry Walpert, Navy, who will place a wreath on a replica of the USS Arizona Memorial. Please stand and render appropriate salute as Staff Sergeant Stephen Luck of the Military Academy Band plays tap.
We'll be back with more on this 50th anniversary of Pearl Harbor after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
ABC's College Football, the Army-Navy game. Brought to you by U.S. Army. Learn how to get an edge on life. Be all you can be. And by Magnavox. Smart choices for smart people. The ingenious products from Magnavox. They're smart. Very smart. Prudential Halftime Report. Brought to you by The Prudential. Come to the companies of The Prudential and build your future on the rock. Here now, Keith Jackson.
a song that was popular during the Korean War years was this hit tune, Blue Skies. Representing veterans of the Korean.
Coming up on ABC Sports, a special today, the Chevrolet College Football Award Show. Find out who the top quarterback, running back, and player of the year live after the game on ABC Sports.
They were there.
Now the men and women of our armed forces who have been called to guard our freedom across this world will join together in a song simply entitled We Were There. They represent all divisions and units of our armed services.
And Cadet Donovan Murray, U.S. Merchant Marine Academy, to perform We Were There.
If you want to find out who we are, ask us where we've been. From the frozen fields of Valley Forge to the trails of Ho Chi Minh, in the glory and the sacrifice we to our job each day. We're citizens and soldiers and serving all the way. When we were needed, we were there. We were there when we were needed, we were there.
No, it wasn't always easy, it wasn't always fair.
But when freedom called, we answered, we were there. When we were needed, we were there. We were there when we were needed, we were there.
No, it wasn't always easy, it wasn't always fair.
But when freedom called, we answered, we were there.
Representing veterans
It's
of the
halftime,
Tornado
92nd
and
Army-Navy game with the Navy leading Army 14-3.
And Specialist Michael Jones, U.S.
Tomorrow at 4 Eastern, 3 Central and Pacific, top players from the PGA and Senior Golf Tours team up with the foremost of the LPGA for $1 million pot of gold, golf gold. Final round, J.C. Penney Classic tomorrow on ABC Sports.
Congress created the United States Air Force in September 1947. The Merchant Marine serves as a naval and military auxiliary in time of war. Established in August August 1790, the United States Coast Guard is part of the Department of Transportation and becomes a part of the Navy in wartime. Our nation's senior service, the United States Army, was established in June 1775. The National March of the United States is John Philip Sousa's The Stars and Stripes Forever. As it is played, the Academy Band is joined by the West Point Cadet Fleet Club, the United States Naval Academy Band, and by cadets and midshipmen carrying the 50 state flags and forming the letters USA. It is an honor to introduce one of our brave soldiers who endured extreme hardship as a prisoner of war during Operation Desert Storm. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Major Rhonda Cornum of the U.S. Army.
I was that which others did not want to be. I went where others feared to go, and did what others failed to do. I asked nothing from those who gave nothing, and reluctantly accepted the thought of eternal loneliness should I fail. I have seen the face of terror, felt the stinging cold of fear, and enjoyed the sweet taste of a moment's love. I have cried, pained, and hoped, but most of all, I have lived times others will say were best forgotten. At least someday, I will be able to say I was proud of what I was, a soldier.
To close our halftime show, we turn to the music of that great American, Irving Berlin, and his timeless classic, God Bless America. Joining our halftime performers is one of America's great singers, an artist in his own right, and USO touring veteran, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jeffrey Osborne.
Beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountain to the prairie to the ocean, white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America.
Prudential Halftime Report has been brought to you by the Prudential. Come to the companies of the Prudential and build your future on the rock.
At halftime in Philadelphia, Navy leads Army 14-3. President Bush from Pearl Harbor after this.
ABC's College Football, the Army-Navy game. Brought to you by Chevrolet, the heartbeat of America, the cars more people depend on. And by RCA, changing entertainment again. "50 years ago, the eyes of the world swung to a place called Pearl Harbor. It is there where we hear now from the President of the United States, George Bush."
Well, first let me salute all that are there at that wonderful Army-Navy contest. I understand you have a great ball game underway. Over my shoulder, perhaps you can see the picture of Arizona, where the war started, World War II started, in December 7th, 50 years ago. And now I'm talking to you also from the deck of the Missouri, where the war ended on September 2nd, 1945. And I must tell you, this has been a very emotional day for the survivors of Pearl Harbor. It's an emotional day for those of us who served in World War II, and it's an emotional day for our entire country. I think it is not a day for hatred. I think it is not a day for rancor. I think it is a day for healing and looking forward. And because of the sacrifice of the people here at Pearl Harbor and others that followed, yesterday's enemies are now our friends. Yesterday's hatred has now given way to feelings of goodwill, partnership, friendly competition. And so it has been a moving day at Pearl Harbor. And I, as Commander-in-Chief of the Forces, have been very proud to be here. Let me wish all of you at that wonderful football game now the very best. And may I say to the men and women of the U.S. Naval Academy and the Army of the West Point, thank you for your service to this, the greatest country on the face of the earth. May God bless each and every one of you who serve the United States of America. It is a special day, and all of you help make it a special day. Thank you so much.
So President Bush, nearing the end of his journey and the ceremonies that go with the 50th anniversary of Pearl Harbor in Hawaii, which has been stretching over the last few hours. We have a crowd today at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia of 67,858. And speaking of emotion, if this ball game score doesn't change much, there is going to be an enormous outpouring of emotion from the naval folks around this world, because their football team came in here without a win, 0-10, and they lead as we go to the second half of play, 14-3. Army will kick it off, and this man, Duke Ingram, would love to return it if they'll kick it to him. Chance Mercure will hit it for the Army team. Army won the toss, took the ball early on, went down in their first possession, wound up with 3 points, and that's all they show for the first half of play. The kick is high, hanging, and all the way back to the 2-yard line for Ingram. Duke's got a little room. He's got a lot of room. A shoestringer trips him up at the 44-yard line. And so Navy starts the second half all jacked up, leading 14-3, and very good field position.
Take a look at it from the end zone. Little hole to the right. He didn't go to it immediately. He saw it, but he stayed in the center to kind of set it up and just gets picked off from behind.
So the big guy from Portsmouth, Rhode Island, gives Navy the ball first down at the 44-yard line, and they come out with Kubiak at quarterback, Van Meter at tailback, Stramanak at fullback, B.J. Mason the flanker, and the wide receiver is Tom Pritchard. The offensive front remains Lane, Boss, Palmer, Davis, Sokol, and Hickman the tight end. him short of the line of scrimmage. Big junior from Binghamton, New York.
To look at the first half statistics, total yardage big in favor of Navy, 191 to only 74 for Army. Total plays in favor of Navy, and time of possession. Navy got it back to almost even. In fact, they're a little bit ahead after that long drive by Army to open the ballgame.
Second down, 11 for Navy. Kubiak swings it out. That's a lateral pass. Van Meter handles it and gets back to about the line of scrimmage where this series started, the 44. And it'll be third down and still about 10.
There's a look, Keith, at the problems that Navy has had in the second half. You don't have a lot of depth. Part of it is they just wear down. Some of it is the team, the defense finds out what they're doing and just shuts down their offense. The other part of it, just a lot of young players.
Hickman, the tight end, goes in motion. Kubiak looking around, throws it. That's well short of the first down to Van Meter out of the backfield, and Fogelslong, the linebacker, over there to make the tackle on him, and that'll bring up fourth down. It'll be fourth down and at least 4. And you would presume maybe to kick it away under the circumstances. They wait until the clock is wound, however, before sending the punting team on, and it's the first punt of the day for Tom Frosch.
It's like a fire drill, both sides hurrying onto the field.
A little bit like Steve Spurrier had things going last week. Back. High, spinning, good-looking spiral. It goes down to the 5, rolling around. It takes a Navy bounce and goes out of bounds at the Coffin corner at the 6-yard line. Dandy kick by Frosch. 45 yards, and here's Jack.
Keith, I talked to Coach Bob Sutton from the Army Cadets from West Point, and I asked him if he thought he'd maybe change his game plan a little bit in the second half. I said, when you're down by a touchdown and more, maybe the wishbone isn't the way to go. Would you put the game ball in the air more? He said, no, we're going to stay with our game plan because what we saw from Navy did not surprise us. It's what we expected.
Well, they start with their backs to the wall back at their own 6-yard line. Myron Williams obviously is their quarterback, and he will stay there as long as he is upright. They turn and give it away to Arlen Smith, and Smith out of the wishbone. Pretty simple, straightforward run over behind the left guard to the 11-yard line.
As you look at Army's first half possessions, aside from their first drive of 14 plays, it took up over 7 minutes. They've been 3 and out on their next 3, and then the last drive was 7 plays. But look at the time of possession on the right side. The last 4 drives in the first half did not eat up much time.
It's going to be interesting to see whether or not Army here now is able to put a hat on the Navy defenders and just move that ball on down the field. That's what they did in their first possession. Carrying is Oliver, Adrian Oliver. Rodney Purifoy made 2 very big defensive plays in the first half for the Navy people. Right now he is playing on the boundary side at the cornerback position.
He's like a linebacker, Keith, especially against a wishbone team. And when you're running the wishbone, you can't have negative plays because you want to come up at best 3rd and short. And when you come up 3rd and long, you have no way to pick up those first downs.
They're now in a posture of 3rd and short, as you can see, 3rd and 1. And they don't have what they need under these circumstances.
Ran out of time.
Yep.
Said, give me the plays quicker.
Clock is going down to 0, and Williams spins the timeout, and he didn't want to do it here. Hey, Grease, you hang around down in that place called Miami. You know a lot about the Dolphins. I want an answer from you after we see this play on 3rd down and 1 from the Cadets. Trying for the first down. And they've got it. High stepping through there is Adrian Oliver all the way out to the 24, 23-yard line. We were just promoting the Cincinnati-Miami game. Are the Dolphins jacked up and rolling now, or are they still available to them?
Well, when they beat the Bears in Chicago 2 weeks ago, that got them fired up real quick. And then they won last week at home, 2 wins in a row. They feel like they've got a shot at getting into the playoffs.
Good. First down. Army running that wishbone. Williams pitches it back. It goes to Smith. And And Smith gets up to about the 27 where he hits the chalk. Running out of real estate, running to the friendly side of the field.
Guilfoyle has been a running back the last couple of years and switched to defense, like you mentioned, Keith, the short side, which usually is all of the heavy-duty stuff, tackling, coming up and playing the run. Done an outstanding job today against the wishbone.
2nd down and 5. 4-man defensive front, 71 anchors it and makes the tackle on Callian Thomas. Big Chris Alexander, who knocked the ball loose, causing a fumble right there when the up man out of the wishbone got the ball. Big 69 getting up is Steve Shalhoub.
Here's Alexander right here. He's just going to fight through the block and get in there. Oh, the fullback says, hey, come on. Slow him down a little bit. I mean,
Shalhoub, they don't have a 300-pounder yet, but in the offensive front, but they're getting close. Shalhoub checks in at 295. He's from Biddeford, Maine. This is Myron Williams turning it upfield, and they'll put him on the ground at about the 33. And I think he's short of the first down. It's going to bring up 4th and short. 4th and a yard, 4th and a half a yard, 4th and 3/4 of a yard. Out comes the kicking team. You don't want to be fooling around down here around your 30-yard line. Everybody's got their ears laid back. Take just a little bit of a mistake and you're in real trouble. You're down 14-3. That's a long driving punt. It leaves some room for Chatlos. He can get a little blocking help, but he doesn't get much help. Comes back to about the 32-yard line where it's a first down for the Navy. And they lead Army 14-3. Piece of hand art with the chalk on that submarine.
No, that took a little time to get that on there.
32-yard line, first down for Navy. Man in motion is B.J. Mason, who's had a big catch so far in the game. Van Meter got around the corner and got across the 40 to the 41. Here's Jackaroot.
Keith, I'm down in the Navy sideline with Billy 26, but I want to tell you a story about one of his predecessors, Billy 15. It seems that the West Point cadets stole him from Annapolis. And what they did is they commandeered a car from an enlisted man that was down in Annapolis, and they carried it back to West Point. By the time they got there, the goat had chewed up the back seat, kicked out the windows, and kicked up the back roof.
I tell you, some of those guys are pretty cranky. They go for the first down on 2nd down and 1, and they don't get it as Van Meter is stopped right about the line of scrimmage. They did get one of the goats one time, though, and shaved him and painted his horns black. But the Mids pulled off quite an accomplishment this week, and they got away with all of the Army mules.
First time ever, all 4 of them. Here's a look at the 2 quarterbacks. Kubiak, the plebe, 8 of 10, having a great day. And Williams, the Army, they don't throw a lot of it.
This could be a pretty good sized play in this the scheme of things. You know that 3rd down and 1? And they don't get it. The Army defense stuffs them at the 40-yard line. They had to go past the 42. So they ran a very slow developing power sweep to the right, and then they didn't get much sweep out of it.
Let's take a look.
If he bounces outside, he might have had a chance.
Yeah, the tackle that was pulling gets stuffed. One of the defensive linemen got in the backfield, and that's what stopped the play.
All right, the punting team is on, and Frosch's second kick. First one was 45. This one is not so good. It takes an Army bounce and comes ricocheting back up the field, and the whole thing blew up in Navy's face. When they had it going for a moment, they miss on 3rd and 1, and now the punt goes only 18 yards, and the Army has field position at the 42 for this possession.
Aloha from the 25th Infantry Division Light at Schofield Barracks, Hawaii. I'm Major General Fred Gordon, Commanding General of the 25th Infantry Division Light Fighters, and an alumnus of the class of 1962. Tropic Lightning Light Fighters say, "Go, Army!"
Army's on the short end of things by 14-3, but they have very good field position, their best starting point of the ball game. 42-yard line. Oliver, Thomas, and Smith in the backfield. Wishbone behind Myron Williams. Williams keeping it, flipping it. Smith. And he's all the way to the 49, close to midfield before Chris Cordero, a senior from Arlington, Texas, can push him out of bounds.
All right. This is what Army had coming into the ball game, 304 yards average per game. Today, only 95 yards through 2.5 quarters.
Second and 2 at midfield.
Third and 2. And this is Oliver. And he may well have his first down. First down, Army. At the conclusion of the game today, Chevrolet's most valuable player of the game from each team. 21st year, the Chevrolet Scholarship Program has been in effect. $1,000 to each of the school's general scholarship fund in the name of the players chosen. Ball is now on the Navy side. 47 on Navy. Army started this possession at their 42. This is Williams going down the line. Gives it back to Oliver. Oliver going around the corner. Goes down hard at the 45. Byron Ogden, the first man to get over there.
Here's a look at Ogden. Played some outside linebacker earlier in the year, then slid inside with the injury to Beck. He's a co-captain. This is what you want to do. Just keep stringing it out, And he shows nice speed to get out there and get a part of the tackle.
That's Chris Hart, 33, helping him, a freshman from Valdosta, Georgia. Second and 7, call it. Byron Williams wants to turn back inside, and when he does, he runs into some arms that are reaching for him. Cordero, number 22, and Kuberski, number 90. Well, Samford beat James Madison. How about that? Big win for Samford, once known as Howard, down in Alabama. Dayton Flyers still there.
We talked about George Chomp being Marshall. He was also at Indiana, Pennsylvania.
Yes, what? Third and 6. Back to throw. Down the middle. Intercepted by Chad Chatlow, the free safety. The center fielder just floating around back there, and all of a sudden, there it was, and he accepted it. It was intended for Mark Dawkins.
Chatlow is number 26 right here. He reads the offensive lineman, sees that they're pass blocking. Williams has thrown 1 touchdown and 5 interceptions on the year. Overthrows his tight end, and Chatlos is there to pick it off. That's his 5th interception, and he's run 1 back for a touchdown.
So Navy takes over at their own 11, leading 14-3. That's a gain of a yard by Spramenek. Van Meter, Spramenek in the backfield with Kubiak. We got Van Meter in their quarterback now, Bob.
Yep.
Run it.
Well, they're backed up, too. I think they don't want to put it up.
This is Billy James, who has scored 1 of Navy's 2 touchdowns, and Kyle Beaver will have a ton of it. Number 11 comes out, sophomore from Gales Ferry, Connecticut, and makes the tackle. Now, we had him down as Pevier, but his shirt tells us it's Peebler.
Army, only 2 starters returning from last year's defense. They really had to revamp this entire defensive unit. It's amazing how small Van Meter looks at number 5 at the quarterback.
He does, doesn't he? But he's 185 pounds, stands 5'10". And Army's got him. They had penetrated, messed up the play totally, and when he turned back into the middle, there was nothing doing, and now they've got to punt it. First punt was 45 by Frosch. Second punt, 18. Let's need a big one here as Gibbs goes back, standing in midfield for Army. And he gets it in. High spinning kick that goes back all the way to the 38. Gibbs comes back to the 47, and that's where they'll go to work. It was a 49-yard punt and an 8-yard return. And after the game, the Chevrolet College Football Awards show. Among those people we'll be hearing from and finding out about include, well, Terrell Buckley and Dale Carter, Florida State and Tennessee, and Troy Vincent of Wisconsin, the 3 finalists for the Jim Thorpe Award and the Heisman Award, and the Davy O'Brien with quarterbacks Detmer, Richardson, and Weldon. And Detmer, Weldon, and Saka are the candidates for the Unitas Award. Trophy Derby. Oliver carried on that one. Time remaining in the third quarter, you see, as we go inside 3 minutes. Navy still clutching to that 14-3 lead.
It's Army offense, Keith, just opposite of Navy offense. They have 9 seniors on this team, including the quarterback, Williams.
Bouncing around on defense, now go to a 4-man front, get some pressure from the inside man, and ball pitched back to Smith, and not much there for him. Mark Ellis, the outside linebacker, was the one that stepped in the way, made him deliver the ball a little bit before he wanted to. When you run into the boundary side, and a lot of people ask that, but when you run that ball to the boundary side, you've got a decent chance of outnumbering the defense.
You do, because most teams defense the field and therefore send most of their players to the wide side of the field. But this is just textbook defense against the wishbone by Navy.
Williams getting some heat now. Gonna try to outrun the big uglies. And coming over to make the tackle is Cordero. Big guys couldn't quite catch up to him. Snyder was huffing and puffing after it, and so was Gawerski. That's 260 pounds and 285 pounds. Bob Gawerski is a junior from Swarthmore, Pennsylvania. I think the whole world has gotten a hold of Florida State's tomahawk chunk, haven't they? It brings up a 4th down, and brings in the punting team. Todd Hawkins hits it very high, not a whole lot of length on it. Takes a real high bounce, and it's now surrounded by cadets, and they'll put it down at about the 15-yard line. How do you get into a military academy? Well, basically, you're appointed to that position. Each congressman and or senator have 5 nominations at any one time, or appointments. The other 25%, that takes care of 75% of your corps at West Point, for example. The other 25% come from appointments within the military, like career officers and so forth, and other sources. Each state is normally represented, and you do have a few foreign cadets. About 11% of the cadets at Army are women. Navy, there's 436 women, which is about 10%. Kubiak is at quarterback for Navy. He's got all day. Now he wants to throw it underneath and does to Pritchard. The pass is caught at about the 24-yard line. He had one man going deep, And if he'd have waited a little bit, Van Meter looked like he might run away from the coverage. He elected to go short and drilled it.
And you may ask how many plebes and cadets, middies and cadets are at the different schools. There's about 4,400 at West Point and about the same number at Annapolis.
Coming down, though, they're aiming, I think, both of them for more like 4,000 in the immediate future, the next couple of 3 years. This is Van Meter. He's got the first down and then some. Ball comes out. Army's got it.
Side judge over there on the side gave a little help by getting in the way.
I don't think Van Meter's too happy about their proceedings over there either. But it's Army ball.
Take a look far right side of your screen. Van Meter, just the end of this run. Looks like he may get something done, and then the official, the back judge, backs out onto the field, gets in the way, slows him down, stops him, and that is what caused the fumble. Unbelievable. I don't know why he went back out on the field, the back judge.
Yeah, trying to protect himself, he knocked the ball out.
He was getting away from the sideline. He probably thought they were all going to go out of bounds, so he'd get inbounds and get out of the way, but Van Meter stayed in bounds.
But he had just considered part of the equipment. That ball is slapped incomplete forward pass. The arm was clearly going forward as Williams was trying to go deep down the middle. And he had a man just going right down the highway. And, it's an incomplete forward pass, fellas. You can turn it loose and get up now.
Best down to throw on, especially when you only average 5 passes a game and have a wishbone offense. And you see right there, he gets hit by, that's Alexander, 71. The rest is just for fun here.
Goodson is the man that's got the ball. Alexander got the man. Well, those two big guys are playing pretty tough up front for the Navy defense, along with Chess Snyder today. This is Myron Williams. He pitches that ball out there to Oliver, and Oliver's taken down short of the line of scrimmage by Chris Hart, the freshman.
Chris Hart made the tackle.
As this day goes on, this Navy team gains confidence. We're inside a minute to go in the third quarter. They lead Army 14-3. They came to the ball yard today without a win.
Well, and no Navy team since the Second World War has ever gone through a season winless.
Well, 48, they wound up with a tie.
Well, it's true. I mean, at least they didn't lose them all.
Williams runs away from the pressure. Big play by Myron Williams for a first down, or very close to it. They had him stone dead back at midfield, and he just ran away from him.
Take a look here at the offensive line blocking. That's Escobedo, number 76, on the block. Just stays with him, and the quarterback does a nice job of just finding the gap and moving through it. A big play for Army at a critical time.
And the quarter is over. So we'll be back with the final period between Army and Navy after this message and the word from our ABC station. Just 15 minutes to play and a 14-3 lead for Navy. And Navy has the ball. Fourth down. Navy doesn't have the ball unless they stop them, and they do. Well, there you go. How many times have we done this now? That's 5 times we've seen fourth down.
Yeah. I think it's 4 or 5 times, and Navy has stopped them twice, and they've been stopped twice.
So Kelly and Thomas, the up man out of the wishbone, the fullback, the horse out of this formation gets it, dives, but look at 55 stop him, Ogden. I mean, he went nose to nose with him, and Navy.
Take a look at Ogden, up close. The defensive line had just moved in to stop the fullback, and Ogden goes over the defensive line who had scooted in. That's a big turnover right there. It's like a turnover. 4th down, you get the ball back.
So Navy has the ball in their possession with the 4th down play in the final quarter, and they lead 14-3, and Kubiak throws complete up at the 35-yard line. That's a very short pickup of 4 yards. Van Meter coming out of the backfield. And now Kubiak is 10 of 12 for 125.
Play action to Van Meter. He's going to slide over to the our right side. This is not intended to go to him. He's looking downfield first, and he is the outlet. What a nice throw.
2nd and 7. Pressure coming, blitz is on, threw it away. There you go. That's what you got to do. You got to take the lick and get rid of the ball. And Fiedler was coming in a hurry.
Safety, a strong safety blitz. It was a screen pass. He just kept moving back. Take a look. 3rd quarter stats. Total yardage, big in favor of Navy. Time of possession is the same, both teams with 2 turnovers. But the interesting thing, rushing yards for Army. Only 119. They came in averaging over 300.
7. Army trying to come up with a big defensive play here as Kubiak drills it for the 1st down to Van Meter. So the 2 kids who've been sharing the quarterback position, Van Meter playing tailback, now playing wideout almost as he works out of the backfield and makes the big catch.
Well, he came in with 18 catches on the year. You mentioned he had started 6 games at quarterback. He has gained 455 yards rushing, leads the team in rushings. He is a very versatile individual.
So the Navy now on the Army side. Ball is handed off to Van Meter again, and here's Jack. Yellow Jack.
Keith, I was going to tell you about the football helmets that Navy wears. You know, they're like every other one. But back in a game in 1894, a young man that played on the team by the name of Joseph M. Reeves actually wore the first documented football helmet to a game. And as legend has it, it was fashioned by a young lady from Annapolis.
48-yard line. 2nd down, 8. Kubiak throws it, pass caught by Hickman, the tight end, fighting toward the marker, and he's close to it at the 39. On the back of the Navy helmets, they're wearing this WFF, that is for Admiral William F. Fitzgerald, who passed away recently at age 91, retired Rear Admiral and former executive director of the Naval Academy Alumni Association. And unless it was real untoward weather, Admiral Fitzgerald was always at practice. He enjoyed his football. 1st down for the Midshipmen on the Army 39. Ooh, what a big possession. If they get some points out of this, look out. This is Van Meter. And he wiggles in there for about 4 yards before they finally put him on the ground. Pause 5 seconds right here for our ABC stations to identify themselves.
WPVI-TV Philadelphia, serving the Delaware Valley.
Van Meter having a pretty good day. He's run for 79 on 21 tries and caught passes for 38. Got it again. Runs out of the grasp of the tackler. And will pick up about 2 yards. Fogelsong had him behind the line of scrimmage. Couldn't hold him. Now they're looking at 3rd down and 3. Kubiak out. Van Meter to quarterback. bet he sleeps good tonight.
I bet he does.
Kept it. Gets the first down. There's a little old belly series for you right there.
That's just a tough kid, Van Meter. I think if I were in a submarine, I think I'd want him giving the orders right there. Take a look at Gilmore, number 57. Inside linebacker. Plays off the block. And gets over and makes a tackle, but not before Navy picks up the first down.
Ball is resting now at the Army 27. Got an upset brewing. This is Billy James. Not a whole lot for him. Give him a yard, make it second down and 9. Again, Army came in 4-6 on the year. Navy 0-10.
High expectations too with George Chomp and his midshipmen before the season. Some of them were talking about the possibility of going to a bowl game. As you mentioned earlier, they lost 5 games by 7 points or less, and things have kind of turned sour. But if you win this ball game, it would end it on a high positive note, and I think the future looks good for this Navy club.
Second down and 9. Down the line comes Van Meter. Got a little hole, turns it inside, taken down at the 25-yard line. They had Mason and Pritchard wide. And Mason has a couple of times lately now, they've sort of ignored Mason. Last time they did that, he burned him on a 44-yard reception.
Yes, he did. He's a former running back also. The backup quarterback, Brian Ellis, number 14, who signals the plays in for George. Although it looks like George is doing a little bit himself and then says, let me have a timeout.
Time called with 10 minutes and 12 seconds to play in a ball game, and Navy still leading it 14-3.
Find out who is the nation's top quarterback, the best running back, and the game's player of the year. It's the Chevrolet College Football Award Show live next on ABC Sports.
Apparently I've confused some of you. I did not mean to infer the Heisman Award was to be made today as part of our Chevrolet Awards program. All the Heisman leading candidates are involved for other awards. Desmond Howard, for example, and Casey Weldon, Ty Detmer, there for the Maxwell Award. The coaches of the year involved in the program include Don James of Washington, Mark Duffner, Holy Cross, Frank Signetti, Indiana. I don't think Frank will be there. His team played today. And Mike Kelly of Dayton, whose team also played and won today. But a lot of personalities involved in things. All right, Kubiak goes back in at quarterback now on third down, looking for the pass. The pressure coming to pass over the middle, and it's a beauty. Caught by Kevin Hickman, 240-pound freshman tight end from New Jersey. And so Kubiak is sent in to throw the ball, and he does it with a completion and moves the chains.
Hickman, number 87 on the right side, is one of 3 true freshmen that are starting for Navy. It's just a delay pattern. Gilmore was right there, but the execution was such, and the yardage not that great, that the completion was made and the first down was picked up.
That's Oliver. James, Billy James. Got a turnaround. You know, it's, well, the Philadelphia Inquirer, the lead headline today on its Army-Navy story was records don't mean a thing.
That's the truth.
And to give you an idea, Navy had been outscored in the second half this year, 169-30. Well, so far, they've given Army nothing in the second half, and now they are threatening to add to their lead of 14-3. Van Meter is your quarterback. There's your option. Nothing doing on that one. That was too obvious. Billy James wound up with it, and on the whole, would rather not have had it.
And the problems, Keith, defensively for trying to defense and prepare for 2 different styles of offense. 1, the option with Van Meter, and 2, the passing attack with Kubiak. This is exactly what Crump Chunk wants to do, and that is force teams in their practices during the week to work both on the option and on the passing. And in Army's case, they couldn't do the passing attack very well. They didn't have anybody who could throw the ball that well.
Time on the field at 8:29 to play in the 6:29 to play in the ball game.
From the men and women of Naval Aircrew Candidate School aboard Naval Air Station, Pensacola, Florida.
Leading 14-3, and that's 8-29, not 6-29. So I guess a couple of bulbs have burned out in whatever scoreboard that victory came from. And here's your 3rd down and 7 now for the Midshipmen. Van Meter stands up, he throws, tied in, touchdown Hickman.
Motion right here. You're going to see him. He's going to come in motion up here, but Hickman is the tight end lined up right in here. He's just going to slide up the field after he gets the jam. Play action fake holds the linebackers. Hickman has a little problem getting out and then just runs over the final defender to get in the end zone.
Rogers for the point. It's good. And you have a major big-time upset brewing at the Bet in Philadelphia as winless Navy leads Army 21-3.
Here's an isolated look at the tight end. Vogelsong just jams him for a little bit. The play action fake held the inside linebackers, and he got the ball in for the touchdown. You look from behind the defense. There you see the play action. That holds your linebackers a little bit. Throws it in between the arms that were up there. Yeah, it's a big-time lead now, Keith. 21-3 against a team that runs the wishbone.
Yep. Chad Davis, deep man. Army gets ready to receive it. Navy continuing its celebration on the sidelines, but now the kickoff team's on the field and ready to boot it down there with Matt Tate to kick it. It's short. It's high, but it's short. Davis. Oh, he got a crease for a moment. And here's Jack.
Keith, the Army Mule has been an unofficial and official mascot as these Army-Navy games for many years, in fact, since its inception. But the first official mascot was in 1936, and it was donated by the Port Royal, Virginia Remount Station. He was 15 hands high, he weighed 1,500 pounds, and he retired in 1948. You know what his name was?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Jackson.
Oh, no.
Well, I could lay a line on that, but it's probably not fit for public television. Ball turned inside by the quarterback, Myron Williams, and he's taken down right about the line of scrimmage.
So it got something to do with what else a mule is called?
That's right. Can't get too serious about this thing. 21-3, Navy leads. That's serious. A big play. They need some points in a hurry. 7:40 and counting. Back goes Myron Williams to throw it. Can't find anybody. Now going to get outside and run a little while. That's a first down as he steps across midfield to the Navy 49.
When Myron Williams was growing up, he watched the Army-Navy game. As you take a look at the last drive, and someone asked him, who did you pull for? He said, well, I pulled for the Navy because at that time they were throwing the ball more. Little did he know that he would soon be in this game as a quarterback. He now has 65 yards on 16 carries.
Williams on a roll to the sidelines, and it's almost picked off. Almost stolen by Chris Cordero. Tomorrow at 4 Eastern, 3 Central and Pacific, PGA Senior Tours team up for the ladies from the LPGA for $1 million golfing pot of gold. Final round of the J.C. Penney Classic tomorrow on ABC Sports. Second down and 10 from the Navy 49. Williams had a man go down and camp right in front of the defender, and Tomasino stood there a good long time, and nobody came to cover him. The pass is complete for a first down.
Basic route. Tomasino here is just going to go down and hook to the inside. The inside receiver will break to the outside, and the receiver to the inside will get the ball on the curl. Sprints out so you don't have to read anything, get a little bit more time to throw. That's basic.
Just short of the 35-yard line. Chad Davis in the lineup now as Williams throws again, and that's tipped and high, incomplete. Purifoy is over there, and so is Mark Ellis, number 40. Pass intended for the tight end Dawkins.
Behind the defense, it's a little bit rolled to his left. Problem with Army passing the ball, they only have about 2 or 3 pass routes. That's Ellis getting a hand on the ball. Else, if he hadn't, it probably would have been completed.
Second down and 10. Look out. Could be 6. Chad Chaklos got one man. Can't do it. Number 21, Arlen Smith, finally ran him down.
Well, here's the man he's trying to get the ball to. He's going to break to the outside. The man that intercepts it is right here. He's just going to cut in front of him. When you throw this route, anything to the outside, you got to throw it on timing. You got to hit to now quick. That ball is floated out there late. Chatlos makes a nice play. It's his 2nd interception of the game and his 6th of the year.
That's a good play by Smith to keep him from scoring.
Rolling out, but when you roll out, you got to get the ball there on time. He floats it out there, a wobbly pass. And Navy has put Army in an area where they're very weak, and that is throwing the football.
Stramanak, the fullback, carries for the Navy from the 11. Will pick up a couple. The quarterback is again Jason Van Meter. When they get down in here, the tough area, that's when the Van Meter shows up at the quarterback position. So Bob Sutton's record against Navy is about to go 0-1 as a head coach. As the defensive coordinator with Jim Young, I think they were successful 5 of 8 times. Ball is on the 10-yard line exactly, make it second down and 9. Van Meter with the option down the line, and that's about the line of scrimmage. Lance Chambers and Aaron Fogelsong. So I got a hunch folks from Annapolis may be in for a pretty good party tonight.
Yes, they will. After a frustrating year of 0-10 and some close calls, they were 5-6 last year and thought that they were going to have a good team. I mentioned earlier the possibility of a bowl. Some were talking about it. They lost some players, Keith. A couple of players transferred. A couple of them academic problems.
Loss on that play. To about the 13, close to the 14. After the ball game, Thrifty Car Rental post-game report. We might get a replay of the Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy from Company B.
The what?
The boogie woogie bugle boy from
I like yours better.
Tim Rogers for the field goal try now. This is a 31-yarder, and he's got plenty of leg, and he nailed it right down the highway, and it's 24-3 Navy at 4:43 to play in the game. '89 was the last time Navy won, as Frank Schenck kicked a 32-yard field goal with 11 seconds left. Navy beat Army 19-17. But coming in winless today and leading 24-3 at 4:43 to play in the game, it's a season saver.
And it's something to build on, Keith, when you beat your arch rival. And your young people, your freshmen and sophomores especially, play as well as they have. It gives you something to look forward to for the next year.
I know that they're arch rivals and they're arch rivals, but no rival is more arch than these two. High hanging kick to Chad Davis at about the 7-yard line. 8 out of 10 Army possessions now have been under 2.5 minutes. And obviously the other one, the very initial possession of the game, the first one, the longest. Since then, the Navy defenders have done a heck of a job.
Well, you can say that again as you take a look at this scoring drive. It wasn't much of a drive, minus 2 yards, but it was all set up by the interception by Chatlos and the return.
Well, let's see now. Army will have to go back to the air if they have hopes of moving it in a hurry. They run the option as Myron Williams loses the ball. It's on the ground. White shirts diving on it. Navy's got it. Steve Sturlitz, number 99, a senior from Rediford, Michigan. So the wall is falling now on Army. 4 turnovers.
See who grabs his arm. Somebody jerks the ball loose. Right there. Nice play. That's Ellis, number 40. Ellis sliding out, number 40. Sees that he's cutting back inside. Can't make the tackle, but can do some damage. And that's a big turnover.
Joe Spencer is now the quarterback. He obviously is an option quarterback. He runs the ball down the line. He gets the clock rolling. Fiedler makes the tackle. And now it becomes a question of whether or not Army can prevent Navy from just sitting on the ball. The clock is rolling at 4:09.
All those Navy men and women watching are going to be celebrating, and all of the Army personnel
be doing just that.
Right there, exactly. Sign seen over in the west coast of Florida, Keith, earlier this week in Cheval, Florida. Norm Schwarzkopf lives over there. Sign early in the week said, "Go Army, beat Navy." Schwarzkopf is on the cover of the media guide along with 3 other players.
Hand off inside to Billy James. Well, as the phrase goes, now you know why they play the game.
That's for sure.
A lot of people getting into the ball game now that probably didn't figure they would.
You're a military man. I mean, you didn't go to Army and Navy, but you were in the Marines. How was their football team? How are they doing?
Kind of quantico. President Truman decided the Marines were going to be a police force. That stopped our momentum back in '48. On 3rd down, the gain is negligible, maybe a yard, and now it's 4th down and 3. One of the better stories of this week past, not only involved the mules, but this young woman right here, who is the first woman brigade commander at the Naval Academy, Julianne Galena. She calls the first captain of the Cadet Corps, Omar Jones, invites him to dinner in Highland Falls up in the mid-Hudson area near West Point. Well, he accepts. Then she calls and says she had to hurry back to, or was called to some meeting or something at Annapolis. Here's the field goal try, up 41 yards and no good by Tim Rogers. So she has to go back to Annapolis. And in the meantime, Jones shows up at the restaurant. Half a dozen guys jump him, tape his legs and arms, put him in the back of a van, and haul him down to Annapolis. So they got the mules, they got the first captain of the cadet corps, and then they took a Piper Cub and they buzzed the campus and laid out several thousand ping pong balls with a message on each. So the Navy had the week in hand before they came to the game.
And the first captain is like the #1 student in both schools. And I like what Omar said. The first captain at Army says, well, now I know what it's like to be a POW.
That's right. Myron Williams, who has fought and played as hard as he could all day long, running that ball up the field, gets it across the 40 to the 41, and a first down. I had mentioned the Joe Polino story, Joe being the first Heisman winner at the Naval Academy. They're out in 1960 playing the Washington Huskies in Seattle. I was doing the Washington games back in those days. That's an incomplete forward pass. It went forward. And Polino kept getting leg cramps. And so Pete Peterson, who was then the trainer for the Huskies, goes out on the field to help the Navy guys, and he takes his scissors and he cuts Joe's britches down at the bottom where they were so tight because Polino had tree trunks for legs. Tough guy. And Polino gets up, gets rid of the cramps, and proceeds to turn in a hellacious fourth quarter, sets up Greg Mather for a field goal late in the game, and Navy beat that Washington Rose Bowl team 15-14.
What a great player Polino was, huh?
He certainly was. That's one out of bounds.
Well, you can't talk about Navy players without mentioning Roger Staubach, probably one of the greatest of all time that ever went to the academy, the Naval Academy.
And Brzezinski, the intended receiver for that pass that floated to the sidelines and out of bounds, stopping the clock.
Roger was one of the few that went on and served his commitment to the Naval Academy and was very successful in professional football. Phil McConkey was another that played for a while, punt returner, wide receiver for the Giants.
On 3rd and 10 now, this might be the last hurrah for the Army team right here, this game. And it is incomplete. Well, McConkey, wasn't he a helicopter pilot?
I think he was.
He was in some pretty hazardous stuff in the Vietnam era.
Well, to catch the punts and return some of those punts the way he did, I'm sure what he was doing was not nearly as dangerous.
Fourth down and 10 for Army. Navy sitting on a 24-3 lead. Army scored in its very first possession, and since then they've been turned back by the Mids. On 4th and 10, Williams got a man. Pass is caught. Tad Davis, first down at the Navy 29. Now time. So clearly the ally of Navy.
That's a nice play and a nice pass by Williams. Been running that same route. This time they just put a little wrinkle on it and it was wide open.
Williams finds his way to the 18. And another first down. Williams now 19 carries, 102 yards in the ball game.
And that's been a real struggle for Williams and Sutton, the coach. I think, Keith, the real story in this ball game has been the Navy defense and shutting down that wishbone. As we mentioned, third in the nation in rushing with over 300 yards a game.
They have done that. Well, if you take away that fullback, and
and string everything to the sideline, and you don't miss tackles. But
normally will not lose if you got them running east and west.
Yeah.
vodka, you can start warming the grog, huh? Time on the field at 1:15 to play in the ball game. And a tough day for Bob Sutton and his troops. Now the final minute and 15 seconds of this ball game. The ball rests down at the 13. Army can score a touchdown and still not put a dent in the Navy fervor.
Army well below what they normally average.
Nothing doing on that one, right at the line of scrimmage, as the entire middle of the defensive unit collapsed on Williams as he was trying to find some daylight.
Hey, they're not touching it.
And one more timeout, and that should do it for those. Monday night, Dan Marino, Miami Dolphins, Boomer, and the Cincinnati Bengals square off.
What a big win for Cincinnati. Last week. Against the Giants, beat the defending Super Bowl champions. Boomer Esiason, you never know.
Well, they play it loose and easy. When you got nothing to lose, you can let it rip. And that's exactly what they did last week. And you know that's what they're going to do this week. 9 Eastern Time, 6 Pacific. Here on ABC, Monday Night Football. Remember, the Chevrolet College Football Awards comes up after the game and right after the Thrifty car rental post-game report, which immediately follows our ball game. And at 5 Eastern Time, the Chevrolet Award show comes along. Army has the football, but Army is on the short end of a 24-3 score. Just over a minute to play, and Army has now used its last timeout. Movement along the front, but it was by the defense, and no flag thrown as the play with Williams gets inside the 10. Now remember, the cadets cannot stop the clock anymore, and when this game ends, those fellows wearing white hats are going to spill onto this field and surround that football team of theirs and whoop it up. You could see the confidence growing and growing and growing and growing, and then all of a sudden they had control of things. And I would say that happened at just about the middle of the third quarter. It became a real serious factor.
I think in the first half, Keith, even as you look at the cadets of Army, when the Navy defense shut down that wishbone offense, I think it was written in stone right then that if Army couldn't run, they weren't going to win the ball game.
Now it's a matter of Navy probably snapping it one time. Brian Ellis is now in there at quarterback for Navy. The Chevrolet most valuable players in the ball game are, for Army, Myron Williams, 106 yards running, 57 yards passing. For Navy, Jason Van Meter, 89 yards running, 38 receiving, and 12 passing, responsible for 2 touchdowns. And in the name of these 2 players, to their respective academies, $1,000 to the General Scholarship Fund to reward outstanding students in their academic achievements and help those in financial need from Chevrolet. So George Trump, in his second season as the coach of the Mids, about to really taste the sweet wine of victory, and it is a vinegary thing that rests now with Bob Sutton. Here's your final snap. Look at this. Going to run around and kill the clock.
That's a backup quarterback. He just wanted to give him a chance to throw the ball one time.
For a minute he was going to let it go, but he decided he'd pull it down and run it and burn that clock some. So Brian Ellis from Morrow, Georgia, junior. And the seconds are ticking away. This will do it. Game's over. Navy upsets Army 24-3. Producer of ABC Sports is Jack O'Hara. Coordinating producer of ABC's college football, Bob Goodrich, who also produced today's game. Today's game was directed by Larry Camp. Our technical director, Gary Larkins. Associate producer for college football, Jim Ressler. Associate director, David Kiviat. We'd like very much to express our appreciation to all of the men and women on our technical staff who worked so hard, all kinds of weather, made this whole thing work. Because it is, after all, a visual medium, isn't it? And so the 92nd Army-Navy game is done and in the book. But nothing has really changed. It will be important again next year, and the next, and the next. And like the song we heard at halftime, it wasn't always easy, it wasn't always fair. But when freedom called, we answered. We were there. For the brigade and for the corps.
Coming up on ABC Sports, find out who's the top quarterback, running back, and player of the year. It's the Chevrolet College Football Award Show next. ABC's College Football, the Army-Navy game, has been brought to you by Chevrolet, the heartbeat of America, the cars more people depend on. By Norelco patented lift and cut shavers. We make close comfortable. And by Hewlett-Packard. Keep those ideas coming, and we'll keep making them look their best. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.